Today we're going to try something really crazy. 23.9, close enough. These are very close to true O scale. You don't want to try this with a modern transformer. So this is based off of a real Lionel Caboose from 1916 up to 1938. That is not helpful. Now it is truth or consequences time. Part of the circuit is running through this wire arm here. Very simple but effective animation for the layout. Hello again, this is Mike with Toy Train Tips and Tricks. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the subject of kit bashing. So what is kit bashing? Well, that's not going on some manufacturer's site and leaving online comments that, hey, your kit stinks. No, that's not the type of kit bashing we're talking about here. Kit bashing is the art, the process of taking one kit or model and taking parts off of it, combining it with another model to make something new. And this is a phenomenon that really started after World War II, when plastic kits first started becoming available and inexpensive. It became a shortcut versus scratch building. So instead of taking your balsa strips and cutting everything to length and making everything from scratch, a shortcut was, well, hey, I want to make a caboose, and well, here's a caboose, and if I cut this part off here and move that over here and then re-glue it, I've got something unique. And we called that kit bashing. So kit bashing was really popular starting in the 1950s all the way up to today. But today there is a new way of doing it. But anyway, through kit bashing, it's the art of taking stuff that was made for one purpose, altering it to make it into a new purpose. Another good example would be the Frankenstein Sd9 that I featured in a video last year, where they took some Lionel parts, some Marx parts, and some parts that I haven't yet been able to identify, and created an Sd9 model that wasn't available for purchase back when that was made, probably in the late 50s, early 1960s. So for Lionel modelers, a common choice for kit bashing material is these SP cabooses, because these things are everywhere. From 1947 to the early 2000s, you could find these in 80% of starter sets. So they're everywhere, and they're different styles, but pretty much the same body type was used. And so if you've been in the hobby for a while, you accumulate cabooses with broken steps or broken roofs or just spare frames lying around that don't have shells to go with them. And so the question becomes, well, what can I do with these things? So today there's a new way of doing kit bashing where you don't actually physically cut the model, but you can use digital modeling to kit bash. And I thought I was inventing this term, but then I did a quick internet search, and I found that the term has been around in the digital modeling world since at least as far back as 2013. As a matter of fact, there's software called 3D Kitbash that came out in 2013. So the term is at least that old, of digital kit bashing. And so here's what happened was I was scrolling around on Thingiverse, which is a repository of free 3D designs, and I found this up here, this wonderful HO scale Santa Fe caboose, the wide vision design, something that you don't see on Lionel. They did make center cupola cabooses, but not of the wide vision style. And I thought, well, what if I take this HO model and resize it and redesign it to fit on one of these SP caboose frames? So that's what I did. This is not the finished model. This is hot off the printer. As you can see, I haven't glued pieces together. I haven't done any sanding or filing or painting or decaling or anything yet. But here is an example. Now, unlike the buildings that I talked about earlier and that I did, changing HO to a Lionel type piece of rolling stock isn't as simple as just taking it and changing the scale. If I took the HO scale model and just ran it through the formula to blow it up, I might have this dimension right, but the width is wrong because, like I said, I haven't glued anything together yet, so these are just press fit together. But the width would be wrong. And then the SP Caboose is not a true O scale, not true 148 O scale design. Plus, it definitely wasn't designed for the wide vision type caboose. So I had to play around with the dimensions to get it to fit this SP frame, which I did. I had to make some other modifications. This is still a work in progress. I'm still not happy with the step design. I'm not happy with my smokestack design. I'm still working on that. And like I said, with this one, I haven't, I still have to do some sanding and some gluing, and then of course painting and decaling. But the concept is here. And so this, I'm offering this as another free download on Thingiverse. The link is in the description on the video. And I'll be updating this. I'll be coming up with new versions of this and fine-tuning it. Like I said, I'm not happy with the step design. I made accommodations for a smokestack here, but I'm not real happy with that design either. I didn't even put it on here for the video. And I did this in draft mode. I've got a little problem with the print itself here. That's not a design problem. That's a print problem here in this corner, which I will fix on the next version. But here it is. So taking something that was designed for HO scale and changing it around digitally, I used Tinkercad. There is a program that is made that does this better. It's called Mesh Mixer. Unfortunately, my computer is just too old, and the video card is out of date and won't run Mesh Mixer properly, so I'm stuck with Tinkercad. But still, you can see, not only did I change the side, but I added handrail details. Like I said, I have a smokestack. I'm not happy with that design. I'm still working on it, and I had to completely reconfigure the way the steps work in order to fit the Lionel frame compared to the HO scale model. So anyway, here it is. Let's throw it on the layout, see what it looks like. The roof is probably going to pop off because, it's just being held on there with gravity. I haven't glued it or anything prior to painting. But let's see what it looks like on the layout and give her a spin. Okay, and like I said, this is a work in progress, and I fully expect the roof will pop off at some point as we go around. But let's give her a spin on the layout and see what happens. Okay, so there it is. Again, this is a work in progress, but I will be posting this on my Thingiverse page. So it's a free download there. So if you have a 3D printer of your own and a spare SP Caboose frame, feel free to print it, decorate it the way you'd like. If you don't have one, see if you can find a friend who does. Again, many public libraries around the country offer free 3D printing services, or actually low cost, just to cover the cost of the filament. There are third-party 3D printing services if you really like the design and are willing to pay for them to print it and ship it to you. It becomes a little bit more expensive that way. Probably a little bit more expensive than what you would pay for a second-hand Lionel SP Caboose. But if you really like the design, that is another option. So here we go, taking a SP Caboose frame something that I had extra of and had a use for. Was designed for that. Then taking what was designed as an HO scale model, changing the dimension, adding some details like the handrails, changing the steps, adding a smokestack, which isn't here. I'm still playing around with that. But making something that Lionel didn't offer. This Santa Fe style wide vision caboose, although the design is very similar to used by Eastern Roads, C&O chassis system, Conrail, Norfolk and Western, and others. So pretty much a generic wide vision caboose that would work for the 60s through the early 90s while cabooses were still running. So there it is. I hope you like it. Like the video, share it, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, and until then, keep the trains running, and we'll see you next time on Toy Train Tips and Tricks.